Courtship is a very interesting period. It's a period between which a guy and a lady decide to get married and the time they eventually get married. So that window is called courtship, and we use that word a lot in Christendom, right? So a lot of things happen during courtship, and it's all about, you both, you as a lady and your guy or your fiance, yeah, you work towards, the wedding. But there are quite a number of things that courtship is not, so we must not get it twisted. I'm going to share with you 3 things that courtship is not, so look forward to it. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is the Confident Woman. I am the Confident Woman. My name is Blessing Ekundayo. I'm a wife, mother. I'm also a medical doctor in the mental health space. And I'm raising confident women. That's my mission, to raise confident, godly women who live life unapologetically and fearlessly. So join me. Welcome to my world. 3 things that courtship is not. Number 1, courtship does not have to end in marriage. So courtship is not marriage, right? And I know sometimes some ladies, right, once a guy proposes to you, the goal is marriage. Don't get me wrong, the goal is marriage, but it doesn't have to lead or end, it must not end in marriage. So what I'm trying to say is this: even though you are in courtship, but you see some red flags in this guy as a lady, or habits that you cannot tolerate, you cannot deal with, they frustrate you and you cannot accept for the rest of your life. It's important to realize that the courtship that you're in, there is no rule that says you must marry the guy because now you are in courtship with him. No, so don't get it twisted. Courtship and marriage are 2 different things, and a broken courtship is way better than a broken marriage. You don't want to go through the problems of divorce. So if you're seeing red flags, this guy is abusive, this guy has anger issues that he's not ready to work on, both of you are quarreling almost like regularly and punctually, you are breaking up, you're making up, you're breaking up, you're making up, it's a sign that you are on a path of destruction in marriage if you don't get help. So courtship there's no rule that says you must marry, even though that's the goal that both of you desire. You both desire to get married. That's the goal of courtship, but it does not, or it does not, it's not compulsory that it must end in marriage if there are signs that it is not working, or there are signs that there are red flags, because these red flags will continue in marriage. The guy is bashing you, he's hitting you, and you're like, but he's already proposed. What? He's already proposed, so it's not marriage. Get out. And even if it's marriage in call, you don't want to die in it. So please, courtship and marriage are 2 different things. As long as you have not signed the dotted lines and you are not interested anymore, please pack your bags. Say, it was nice meeting you. Now I need to find my way, my path, because we are not going in the same direction. So please bear that in mind. Don't say because he has proposed to me and now I have the ring, then and this ring is now binding me. Your engagement ring is binding. It's not binding. It's not binding yet. It's not yet binding. So don't bind yourself. Don't bind yourself, my dear sister. It's not binding. I'll encourage that if there are things that you want to see in your marriage in the future, while you're in courtship, make sure that you're working on it yourself and the other person too is working on it, so you can see that they are making efforts. You can see that the guy is making effort to work on some of the things that you have highlighted. Because the reality is, let me tell you, my dear sister, is the guy will give you his best during courtship. So if he's not willing to give you his best, if he's not willing to work on those things that you have highlighted, then there is no point. When you get married, don't think that you're going to change him. You cannot change any guy. Please, don't think that by the time you get married, he's going to change. He is not going to change. Unless he wants to change. I don't think that because you're not married to him or you're not married to you, then he now is not under the compulsion to change. No, you cannot change anybody who does not want to change. Should I say that louder so people at back can hear? You cannot change anyone who does not want to change. So that's very important. So courtship does not always have to lead to marriage, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, courtship is not endless. It is not forever. Yes, it's not forever. So when I see people who are in courtship and it's taking forever, like it's like they say they're engaged, they're in courtship, but there's no sign that marriage is coming. Like they're not planning a wedding. So I'm like, what are they actually doing? Because he's proposed, you now have like ring for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. Are you Lord of the Rings? Please, no, it's not forever. So when you're in courtship, there has to be an end date to that courtship, and the end date should be marriage. So where you graduate, you are promoted, because the goal, the courtship is that period. So we're working towards a goal, a mission together. That's where we want to end, to get married and then live our lives together as husband and wife, right? So as a lady, if a guy has proposed to you and he's saying nothing about marriage, then you have to ask him questions like, guy, what's up, what's going on? We've been engaged for 2 years. Like, I have your ring. You're telling everybody that yes, you're going to marry me, but you're not saying anything about marriage. What's going on, what's happening? So it's something that you guys need to be discussing, because in a period of courtship, it's a period where you begin to talk about your lives together. You are rehearsing marriage, and you are communicating about what your marriage is going to look like. You are building a foundation of the future you want to both have together. So I want to encourage you to talk about marriage, talk about your wedding plans, talk about your future plans, while you're in courtship, and talk about when is the wedding date. That's part of the conversations you must be having, because again, courtship is not forever, right? So don't be shy to talk about it, because as a lady, if a guy has engaged you, you are taking this ring up and down, and you're telling people, I'm someone's, property to be, or I'm someone's fiance, and you're not a fiance, or your goal. I don't think your goal is to be a fiance forever. So yeah, so talk about it. So it's not forever, it's not endless. And the last thing that courtship is not intercourse. Yes, courtship is not sex. Courtship is not intercourse. I think that it's important for many people to know that, many ladies to know that. So lady, the fact that a guy has given you a ring does not mean that he has married you. Remember, there are many courtships that end. Yeah, they end before they get into marriage. So the purpose of courtship is not to have intercourse, it's to have interviews. I like that. One woman I really like so much, Pastor Bimbo Odikoya of blessed memory, she says that a lot. Courtship is not for intercourse, it's for interview. So it's time to be asking questions, to get to know more about this person, to have more conversations, not to be having sex, right? So that's the whole idea. So because he's giving you a ring doesn't mean that your body now belongs to him. It's that thing. No, 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 no. Let me tell you what this means. Don't feel obligated. It's not even right as a child of God. If you're a lady and you're a believer, no, it's not right to begin to have sex before marriage. It's not okay. We don't do it in this kingdom. There are levels to these things. We don't stoop low to having sex before marriage. No, because our God is a God of purity. Our God is a God of holiness, and yeah, we are ambassadors of that God. So we cannot afford to stoop low, to that level. We can't come down to that level. And besides, one of the things that you are saying, or your fiance is doing, if it's the one pressuring you, or even if you are the one that is guilty, both of you are guilty. As long as it's not it's not something you're doing under duress, right? Is you realize that you're building a foundation for your marriage, and if you do not have self-control, if you're not developing self-control in courtship, it means that you carry that lack of self-control into marriage, and the reality is, even in marriage, you still need self-control. I'll say that again. In marriage, you need self-control, because there'll be temptations from other people, right? And it is the self-control, the discipline that you are building, both of you are building, while you're in courtship, is the same discipline that would carry you into marriage and would help you in marriage. So if you are able to say no to sin, you're able to say no to the temptation, even though yes, you love each other, you can't wait to be with each other and sleep with each other, but you're able to say we rather honor God, we rather uphold godly values rather than do things just to please ourselves. It makes you as a woman, makes you trust that man more, and vice versa. It makes him trust you more. When you get married and for some reason he's out of town, when you now start thinking, oh, my husband cannot be by himself, maybe he's sleeping with somebody else, and vice versa, or you end up having like a long distance marriage, for example, which work can happen, work can take you out of the country and things like that. It's the self-discipline, the self-control that you have built during this period that would help sustain the marriage. So if you are used to lusting after each other and not actually disciplining yourselves, it's you transfer it into marriage. So now is the time that you need to start building that self-control. This is not a message of condemnation. If you've started doing it, things can change. You can turn a new leaf today and be like, you know what, I think we need to have a conversation. I think that we need to stop having sex before we get married. I love you so much, but I think it's important for us to honor God, because if you are in courtship, you're meant to be honoring God, not just please not satisfying your bodies. Right, so I think I've how about this enough. Okay, I don't intend to knock your head. I'm sorry if you felt like I was knocking your head, but I mean, someone has to say the truth to us ladies, and it's part of building confident women. Don't do what you don't really want to do, and don't try to please a guy and displease God at the end of the day. I hope this helps, and I hope this was insightful. So 3 things that courtship is not. I wish you all the best. If you are yet to be in courtship, make sure that you have a beautiful courtship, and you don't take it forever. You don't start in what you should not do in courtship. Things that are for marriage, do it in marriage, and you realize marriage is beautiful. You will enjoy it more. Leave the honeymoon to honeymoon in marriage, so there will be a lot of honey in the moon. Right, thank you so much for watching. God bless you. I'm blessing the Kundayo. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I mean, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Bless and what's up, babe? What are you saying? Yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions. Until I see you next time. Yeah, take care. God bless you. Bye.